Welcome to another episode of What If There's a Better Way. I'm your host Leah, and this is another mini session. Today we're going to talk about behavior change. So in mainstream psychology, let's say, there's a lot of analyzing and thinking and behavior change first, which can work for some people, and sometimes it doesn't work. In Somatic Experience, we see the behavior as something that changes last. And first, we work on our behavior. Not behavior, that's the last thing, right? We first work on our body sense of safety. The body sense of safety is basically what underlies everything. It is one of the fundamentals that we build on. So we start there with building the fundamentals, the sense of safety that slowly but surely expands. And then we let out naturally, not provoked, naturally, our old survival stresses, which can come from relational things, which can come from injuries, accidents, stressful periods. It could be anything, right? It's very personal and sometimes very subtle and sometimes very obvious. Then, as we bring more and more safety in, our brain, which actually gets fed from the peripheral nervous system, so from our body, the information goes mostly up to our brain. So our body informs the brain. If the body's in chaos, the brain will be underperforming, right? Because the information is not clear, it's very chaotic, there's just too much happening to handle it properly. Then, as we have developed a sense of safety, calm, space, rhythm in our body, clarity, our thoughts will change, right? This is the next step. Because our body feeds our brain, now what we feed our brain is higher quality, it's clearer. We can also perceive more nuance because there's not that survival stress interference from before. And so we think clearer, new thoughts are now possible. More planning, more higher cognitive functions are now possible. More abstract thinking, more planning, we are already at better emotional regulation. So you will probably be less impulsive, slowly, over time. And then, from that improved decision-making place in your brain, you can make better decisions. In other words, take better action, which is your behavior. And sometimes those things will unconsciously change, and sometimes it will be a very deliberate choice. And my suggestion with this would be to not try to fix anything in particular, but really let your body naturally decide which old survival stress it lets out at the time and it is able to process. And you will probably then later at some point or not know what it was really about, which exact memory it is tied to and which exact behavior it is changing. But sometimes for some people it doesn't matter. You actually don't need to know and you don't need to spend a lot of time analyzing it. Actually, you don't need to analyze it. You can just let it be. You're improved. You're more at peace. So you can just move on. And again, we want to titrate the whole experience. So instead of hoping for something to change very quickly, it is best to just or my suggestion would be to just continue integrating this practice into your life so that it can be refined and you can go deeper over years and decades instead of hours, weeks, and days. Nearly anything can be achieved over decades. So where are you coming from? Where are you going? Just slowly but surely continue on.